Let's face it, when you're pulling a load of expensive cargo, or guiding a vessel through narrow harbors, or keeping a drilling rig positioned directly over its hull, you can't afford to run short on power. You need something you can rely on, and the EMD has built a reputation of quality and reliability. But no matter how much quality and pride goes into building it, reliability is a direct result of proper operation and maintenance. You know, you've got to have the same pride in operating this thing that GM has in building it. It's your responsibility, and its successful operation reflects how much care and pride you put into the relationship. And that's why we've put this series of programs together, to make that relationship as good and long-lasting as we can.
Well, if we got a problem with this engine...
Just look at the old-timers that have lived around these things all these years. They've learned the little ins and outs, and they know what it takes to keep the things humming. Maybe it took them years to learn about the EMD, but maybe we can share their knowledge and wisdom with you, so you don't have to go through quite as many sleepless nights. One of the guys that'll be sharing some of what he knows has lived around these things for over 25 years. He's considered one of the masters when it comes to maintaining and repairing these engines. His name's D.A. McGee of Geosource's Power Systems Division.
My real name's Delbert, but you can call me Mac.
Mac's a pro. Like we said, he and these engines date back to the 1950s.
Since 1955.
He'll be adding his comments throughout the different topics of the series, and he's got a lot of good tips for you, too. And another old pro is Don McCrossan. He was with EMD for 40 years before he retired and began working with us on this series. We'll be talking with him quite a bit, too, because his comments will be invaluable to you. Others that'll be helping us out are people like Robert Taylor. Robert's expertise lies in the overhauling of the EMD. There's Mark Jansen, who's pretty good at rebuilding power assemblies. And there are others, too. Now, there are some things we'd like you to know about as you use the series. Don't try to watch all the programs at one time. We've designed the series to be used one piece at a time. Each segment covers one particular topic and is independent of the other segments, so that you don't have to watch a lot of unrelated confusion just to learn how to do something like time an injector or pull an airbox inspection. All you have to do is take the program you need and watch it. After a while, if you perform all of the maintenance functions and routine repair work, you will have viewed most of the tapes, and you should be on your way to becoming an expert on the EMD. That'll help you be more professional, and it'll make you more valuable to the company. Now, these programs don't replace the maintenance manual. Anytime you do any work on the engine, the maintenance manual should be at your side. The programs are to help you understand what the manual is trying to say, to give you a visual illustration. Now, you'll notice that there are two different colors of labels on these programs, blue and red. The programs with the blue labels can be considered, well, sort of maintenance and operations-oriented subjects. Those with the red labels deal more with repairs. They're things that it won't hurt you to know, but performing the work they cover is not an everyday operation, and you've got to use extreme caution and good judgment in doing them. Things like repairing power assemblies and changing the main bearings. These repairs are usually done in well-staffed and equipped shops, so watch these programs, but be very sure of yourself before you attempt them. There are self-study guides for each program. You'll be able to use them to test your knowledge and comprehension on each section. And when you're through with each section, you should know enough about it to give yourself some idea as to how to do the service yourself. Now let's talk a little about what's covered in the series. The most basic program is on how the EMD operates. If you're new to EMDs, you'll want to take a close look at this program. It starts with the basics of the engine, the theory of operation, but it'll lead into the next program on pre-start inspection and startup procedures. This program will go over each step and show how to get the engine up and running. Naturally, after the engine's been run for a while, certain things have to be done to it to keep wear down. The section on programmed maintenance will go over these things and help you learn how to keep your logs accurately and how to tell when filters need to be changed. And every now and then, you'll need to inspect the engine for wear. The program on inspections will give you a good idea of how to evaluate wear and damage and when the power assembly needs to be repaired or replaced. If you find damage or wear that needs attention, the sections on power assembly repairs will show you how to take care of the problems. They'll also give you a good idea as to what you can probably repair on location and what will have to be returned for repair. There are several periodical adjustments that will have to be made from time to time to keep your engine in tune. The program on tuning the injector, rack, exhaust valves, and governor will give you detailed instructions on what to do and how to do it. There are also programs on how to repair the support systems and even on major overhauls. You'll find a brief description of each section in the workbooks. Like I said earlier, the Blue Series will go a long way in helping you keep the engine operating and in top-notch condition. But like everything with moving parts, it'll eventually need servicing, maybe because of wear. Maybe somebody neglected something that needed attention. Whatever it is, it'll probably be covered in the Red Series. There are a couple of things right off the bat we want you to be aware of, though. Anytime you go into one of these engines to inspect it or work on it or clean it up, always remember to secure it so that it can't accidentally be turned over.
Fire up that number 2, Rich.
That way you'll be able to keep all of your fingers. And don't ever try to do anything without the right tools and help.
One of the most important tools is experience.
So true. And you know, something that's ruined quite a few engines, running the wrong kind of oil in the crankcase. Only use oil that meets the manufacturer's specs. SAE 40 heavy-duty additive type. You want an oil that has a high resistance to oxidation with a low tendency toward the formation of carbon deposits. It should be non-corrosive to silver. Be sure the oils have an adequate alkaline and highly effective detergent dispersant systems. That's what it takes. Whatever you use, make sure it's got the master mechanic's blessings. If you feed this engine the wrong kind of oil, it's going to spit those bearings back out at you. Remember, SAE 40 heavy-duty additive type oil. And just as important as the oil is the fuel. Diesel with a high sulfur content loves to eat those liners and rings. Make sure you're running a low sulfur diesel. Or make sure you have chrome liners and iron rings in the engine. The chrome will handle the sulfur a little better. And here's one you'll be fighting from now on. Probably the worst thing you can do to this engine unintentionally is to run it for long periods of time without a load. That carbon will build up in no time flat. Then when a load's thrown on, the carbon flies. You might as well throw a handful of scrap metal in the combustion chamber.
You know, I've seen more damage than anything else from running an engine without a load.
Now keep these things in mind, always. 1, always secure the engine before doing anything. Know what you're doing before you try to do it. Get help if you're not absolutely sure. 2, use only SAE 40 heavy-duty additive type oil and make sure the master mechanic okays it. The engine will burn about 15 gallons a day, so keep the crankcase full. 3, use a low sulfur fuel. Chrome liners will help reduce the effects of sulfur. 4, if you don't have a load on that engine, unless it's absolutely necessary, shut it down. And remember, whenever you do any work on the engine, have your manual handy. It'll tell you everything you need to know. Now there's a lot of other things that you'll need to be aware of, but these are some of the most important. And you're going to run into quite a few problems as your experience with the EMD grows. But it's a good piece of equipment, and the quality of your workmanship is going to be reflected in how dependably that engine runs.